Hey, good morning, guys. Tim Knox here on a beautiful Saturday here in the state of Alabama. I am on my way to a weekend event that is put on by a friend of mine, group of investors, real estate tycoons, all kinds of investors and money guys. What I'm doing there, I'm just kind of helping him run the show. I'm not one of the guys in the audience, but hey, welcome back to the Real Estate Minute, which usually takes at least 5. And today it's a follow-up to the first video I did on the funding process for your new house. If you are in the market for a house, the first thing that you should do really before you start looking at houses is get pre-qualified by a lender and preferably pre-approved, which means you actually have a letter in your hand from a lender that says, yes, they can afford this much money. And that puts a lot of stock in the eyes of a buyer or a seller if you are a buyer that has a pre-approval letter, already meaning that you can buy the property, because a lot of times real estate transactions fall apart because the buyer can't get funding. So in the last video, I talked about what pre-qualification was, and really quickly to the point, pre-qualification is where you sit down with a lender and they look at, just to give it a cursory look, they look at your bank history, your credit history, they look at your income to debt ratio, and they pre-qualify you, which basically says, from what we see, you are pre-qualified for this much money, and if you when you get ready to go forward in the process, then there is the pre-approval. So pre-qualification, think of it like this: pre-qualification is like getting a ticket to a dance. You're Cinderella or whoever, and you've got a ticket to the dance. That is your pre-qualification letter that lets you get into the dance. The pre-approval letter is when the bank actually digs in a little deeper. They go into your credit history. They go into your credit score. They look at your debt to income ratio. They look at a lot of things. They look at how much cash you have. And if everything checks out there, then you go from being pre-qualified to pre-approved, which means the bank is going to give you a letter. They're going to give you a ticket that will not only get you into the dance, but will let you dance. And that's always a nice thing to have, because it's going to tell you how much house you can afford, how much the payments are going to be, and it's just a very handy thing to do, because again, a seller will know that you're serious. As an agent, if I call up someone who's selling a home and say, I have a client who is fully pre-approved, ready to go, it's going to shortcut the process, and that seller is going to think, okay, that is probably someone good to sell my house to, because they've been pre-approved for the funds. Now, that's not the end of the line. You got your tickets, you're into the dance, you are dancing. Well, let's say you meet someone and you want to get to know them a little better. Well, that is what we call underwriting, and that is the next step. You've been pre-qualified, pre-approved, you're good to go, but the loan will not close until the underwriter does their due diligence and makes sure that you can indeed come up with the money for the down payment and afford the loan. That's underwriting. You've got to pass underwriting before you get lucky at the dance. All right, we'll talk about underwriting in the next video. Hey, I want you to get out there, have a great weekend. It is going to be a beautiful one here finally in the state of Alabama. Hey, don't forget, if you like what I do on this channel, click the old subscribe button, click the bell notification icon, and every time I post a video about real estate, you will be notified. All right? Until then, if I can do anything for you, let me make sure I'm not running over anybody. Someone give me a hard time about driving and doing these videos, but actually I pay more attention when I do the videos. Anyway, if I could be of service, don't hesitate to call, text, or find me on Facebook, Tim Knox. I will see you next time on the Real Estate Minute or 5.